Our next speaker comes all the way from Delaware. Please give a round of applause to Anika Stewart. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire.
Greetings, everyone. I want you to say and repeat after me. I choose to define who I am, what I represent, and is not defined by my hurts, my habits, or my hang-ups. Say to yourself, I choose to live. Now turn to the person next to you and say, I choose to live. Now that you choose to live, choose to be happy, even if doing so, others become unhappy. But here's the thing. What happens when the others are yourself? You constantly reminding yourself of your hurts, your habits, and your hang-ups. Reminding yourself of the things that you have done that you're not proud of. Telling yourself that you're not good enough. You'll never amount to anything. Well, today, I come to speak to that inner critic and remind you that every day is a chance for you to change your life. I simply want you to think about your life today and ask yourself, am I completely satisfied with who and where I am? And for those of you who are not completely satisfied with who you are in life today, I'm here to encourage you to choose to live. I'm here to encourage you to choose to live beyond the pain. Choose to live beyond that suffering in silence. See, my intention today is to provoke thought that will set a fire within you that will cause you to take action. Cause you to no longer suffer in silence. Is there anybody in the room today who has said to themselves, I'm just simply tired of being tired? I know that I'm called and I'm chosen. I know that I have a work to do, but I'm not quite sure how I'm going to make it happen. I haven't yet figured out how I'm going to all fall into line with God's will for my life. I haven't yet quite figured it out yet. Well, I know exactly what you're going through. I understand what it's like to feel trapped within yourself. To feel as though you're alone, nobody understands what you're going through. But you still show up in the room great. You still show up in the room with a smile on your face. You still show up with the latest apparel. But on the inside, you're crying and you're dying. I know exactly what it feels like. See, I was living this horrible lifestyle of drug addiction. I was using and selling drugs. And this was a life I never, ever imagined for myself. I lost sight of who I was, my dreams and aspirations, but most of all, I lost hope. I was hopeless, desolate, empty. How many of you know that sometimes it takes something traumatic to happen or something you've never, ever imagined to wake you up? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. It was November 2007, and this is a night that I'll never, ever forget. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was November 2007, and I had just arrived home with my two youngest boys at that time, and I began to prepare them and myself for bed. And as I was sleeping, I was suddenly interrupted by two masked gunmen. They entered my room and demanded that I get out of my bed and lay prostrate on the floor. And as I begin to do what I was instructed to do, I'm thinking to myself, how did I allow myself to get here? This isn't the life that I planned for myself. God, please don't allow my children to come in and see me like this. So as I'm laying there, they begin to tie my hands and legs together. And then he duct tapes my mouth. And it was in that moment, y'all, that I said, this is it. I'll never have a chance to fix my life. I'll never have a chance to be that phenomenal woman that I've only dreamed about. My children are going to be motherless. So they utter these words to me that I'll never forget. Anika, are you ready to die? With the barrel to my head. All I could do in that moment was begin to chant. And I said, I choose to live. I choose to live. I choose to live. And if God be God and allow me to see another day, if he just give me one more chance, I'll do something different. I'll change my life. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what change is, but I'm willing to give it a try. Has anybody in here ever felt like that? I've fallen short, but I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to try again. So here's what I learned from that experience. And as you can imagine, that was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. I learned that I had a choice for every day of how I was going to live my life. I learned that I had to have a spirit of gratitude for every single day that I get to open up my eyes and my feet hit the floor. I learned that if I was going to leave this legacy of this phenomenal woman who set an example for her children and who was there for her children, I had to shift my own life, which meant I had to get out of my mess. Has anybody ever been in a mess? I was in a mess. In fact, I was the mess. And everything about my life was in turmoil. But I knew from that moment moving forward that I had a choice. And my choice was to choose to live. It was to choose to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious, and enlightened. So there was 3 core things that I had to do in order to stand before you today as a bold, dynamic, confident woman, assisting other women with shifting the trajectory of their lives. The 3 core things was, point number 1, I had to acknowledge. I had to acknowledge who I was, where I was, who I desired to become, where I desired to go. Because here's the thing, you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. Sometimes you got to go to a place that's painful. Sometimes you got to go to a place that's uncomfortable. And I'll never forget this. I was in the bathroom and I was looking at the mirror. I was looking in the mirror and I just began to really do a self-assessment of where I was in life. I knew I desired more. I knew that I had a calling on my life. And I'm just looking at myself. And I went to a place of acknowledging my pain and giving it a name. Some of you, you may be acknowledging where you are, but have you given it a name? Have you given it sound? So I'm standing there and I'm looking at my reflection and I had to acknowledge the woman who was broken, the addict, the woman who neglected her kids, the woman who settled in relationships, the woman who was living this lifestyle that brought danger in the home. I had to acknowledge. And here's the thing, it doesn't feel good, but it's for your good. I'll say that again. It's for your good. Point number 2, I had to accept what was. Sometimes you just have to simply accept who and where you are in this moment. I accept the woman that I am today in order to embrace the woman I'm becoming. Accept who you are today in order to embrace the woman that you're becoming. Because the woman that you are today is molding you and shaping you into your destiny. Point number 3, you got to simply own it. Own who you are. Owning who you are is about praising who you are, where you are, and what's to come. Begin to prepare for greatness. Create opportunity. Take action daily. So in my closing, Les Brown says it best. He says most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. We don't want to be in the same position that we are a year from now. We owe it to ourselves to live a life of abundance. So make a choice today to choose to live beyond the pain. Choose to live beyond the pain. And make a choice that I'm worth it. I'm going to show up for myself. And I'm going to choose to live. God bless you.
We needed that.